Sue Murphy, good morning to you.
Hiya, how are you guys?
So every week around about this time, Sue gives us some recommendations for stuff that you might have missed, something that's shiny and new, and some other stuff that we're all still watching. So you have 29 shows and films to watch over Easter. It's going live on the site and on OTB SPORTS today.
Does that show you how sad I am? Yeah, like I try to do a mix of things. There's loads of different things in there. There's films, there's documentaries, there's series, and like some of them are rewatches, and it's just kind of like, did you know this is on one of these players? And some of them are, you might have missed this. So hopefully somebody will be able to find something within 29 of them. I started it and I was like, this is a great idea. And then at number 15, I was like, what am I doing? Why did I do this? So hopefully people read it.
Was 29 the number beforehand that you had in mind?
I thought it was 51.
No.
51?
I thought it was 51. What did you start off with?
No, I started with I just wrote down all the players, and then I was kind of just writing in the titles of ones that I would rewatch. And then suddenly I was counting them going, oh great, I have 29 of them here. And it went on for, I was writing it for 3 days. So.
Do you know what I watched last night, which is on Apple TV? Because I was like, I better turn on Apple TV. I literally haven't turned it on since watching Wolfwalkers, which was Christmas. And I see it coming out $5 a month. I'm like, that's $5 a month. That's $5.
Well, I'm getting it for free, but I felt the same thing.
How did you get it for free?
With an Apple TV.
Oh, right, okay. And so I stuck on Calls. Have you heard of Calls?
No.
No.
So it's an audio thing that they have animated, and it's about an apocalyptic event, which is essentially the end of the world, and it's people on the phone to each other while this is actually happening, and it is freaky. There's first episode is like 13 minutes, and it has Cousin Greg from Succession as one of the callers.
Oh, I'm in.
Immediately, I was like, and the premise is brilliant. So like, it's literally what's happening, how the end of the world happens, but it's not showing it to you. So I thought it was very clever and a brilliant use of audio.
And 13 minutes long, which is bingo.
And the second one, I think, is 20 minutes, and then there's one that's 6 minutes, and it's different stories from different people the whole way through. So look, that's my mini recommendation this week.
It's a bit morbid, isn't it?
Well,
actually, everything I have this week is a bit morbid anyway, so...
I was going to say, you're new and shiny. 3 bleak and grim, it says here.
I was trying to go in, levels of how bleak and grim they were, but Mauritanian is pretty grim. So everyone's been waiting on this one because it's Jodie Foster back in kind of a lead role, and she hasn't done something like this in a while. She plays a detective, I was going to say, I'm so obsessed with attorneys. She plays an attorney who decides to take up a case pro bono for a man who's been imprisoned in Guantanamo Bay. He hasn't been charged with anything. He doesn't know why he's there. He's basically guilty by association. And she takes up his case. And she really drives this entire film. She is brilliant in it, and you would just want to see her in every scene. And her obsession with finding out what happened. She doesn't even, there's one scene where she talks to him about whether he did it or not. And she's like, that's not really why I'm here. I want to give you your fair process. So she's just trying, she works in this massive law firm. She does so many of these cases pro bono. The real Nancy Hollander is absolutely amazing. She's done a lot of interviews around this as well. But it's very, very, very grim. There's a scene in this for about 15, 20 minutes of the torture he suffered in Guantanamo Bay. And when you hear those things like sleep deprivation and stuff like that, and then they show it to you, and you're just like, oh my God, what this guy went through was absolutely unbelievable. It's very, very good. I would put a bit of a health warning with it that please be in the right mood to watch it, but well worth your time.
Yeah, certainly I was not really in the mood for watching Calls late last night. It kind of freaked me out a little bit. Okay, so Jodie Foster, by the way, has also done a brilliant Mark Maron podcast recently where she's talked about her life up to this point, and it's an unbelievable life. When you consider that somebody tried to assassinate Ronald Reagan to impress her when she was very young, and she has managed to recover, and how she dealt with that whole thing. And then the list of movies that she's been in, all the way back to Taxi Driver, is this is literally one of the greatest Hollywood careers of all time. And it was a child actor as well who managed to pull that off and is still doing great work now. So I'm really looking forward to watching that when I'm in the right mood for it. Concrete Cowboy, what's this?
It's Idris Elba and it's on Netflix. This isn't like, it's kind of a little bit grim as well because it's a kid who's just lost his way and he's living with his mom. He's always getting in trouble in school, and she decides she's going to send him to his dad, who runs a kind of a ghetto kind of urban riding club. It's based on a true story about the Fletcher Street Urban Riding Club. So that's kind of takes place in the background, but the main story is their relationship and how the dad is trying to just put him on the straight and narrow. But he ends up with the wrong crowd and just everything seems to go wrong for him. I actually really liked this, but I would say that the start of it is brilliant. It gets, you know, the whole idea of like breaking a horse, they try to break him. So they get him to go in and work in the stables, and it's like, oh, you're going to have to do all this hard work to really come through as a guy. And it's just a bit, it goes down in the middle and then it gets really good again towards the end. But I think like Idris Elba in anything, he is just so watchable. And I felt like I was like the closest I had been to Stringer Bell in a long time, because, you know, like Luther, I've basically been watching Luther and Loop, but it's good. It's not brilliant, won't blow you away, but it's fine for a couple of hours. Okay.
It gets 5 out of 10 on IMDb, 77% Rotten Tomatoes. It's grand, I'm hearing from Sue Murphy.
That's my review. It's grand.
On our performance rankings, it's in the orange. The Tina Turner documentary, it's just called Tina, is it?
Yes, Tina. And like, if there's anything you're going to watch this week, make it the Tina Turner documentary. This is incredible. Like, in terms of, I think so much of her life has been in the public eye, and you know so much about Ike Turner and all that kind of stuff. I didn't know about her relationship with her mother and everything that had gone wrong there. And their dad abandoned the family when she was very young. And they go into a lot of detail around the Ike abuse, because she did talk around it, but she goes into a lot of detail here. But it's very much trying to say, this is it, and I'm moving past this, and I'm on to the final part of my journey, and I want to say goodbye to my career and my fans, and I want to go and live this nice life with my husband. And it's an incredible documentary. It's really like the way they set that up, and they set it up into chapters across the course of the documentary. And then it's kind of peppered with all these amazing performances. Like, I know people who aren't big Tina Turner fans and were like, God, she's amazing, and are now totally into Tina Turner. And she is incredible. It's just, but it is a very, very good music documentary.
What's the Tina doc on?
It's on Sky. It's on Now TV, so it's on Sky Docs and Now TV. I think it was an early release on Sky Atlantic, and she's been promoting it a good bit herself. But she basically says herself, this is her goodbye to her fans, and she just like, God, leave the woman in peace. Like, there's one bit in it where like it's years after she's broken up with Ike Turner, and she's in an interview, and so she says to her, you know, he's been arrested on drug charges. Have you got anything to say about that? And she's like, I mean, I'm sorry, and I hope he's happy, but you know, it just constantly being dragged up in interviews for her. I felt really sorry for her. It's excellent. It's a really good watch.
Okay. Something you might have missed?
Yeah, I'm a bit obsessed with this. This is Criminal UK. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's on Netflix. There's 2 seasons of it and 7 episodes. And it's brilliant. It's a bit like my favorite bit of any kind of detective drama is when they go into a room and they question the witness and they question the accused. And this is exactly what it is. It's a room, it's a tape recorder, it's a policeman and detective, and they're interviewing the person connected with the crime. And it's an hour of that. And it doesn't even tell you at the start what the crime is or anything. It just reveals it over the course of the episode. There's some brilliant guest appearances in this. It's David Tennant, Sharon Horgan, Haley Atwell, really, really good. And if you haven't seen this, like, you'll struggle to turn it off. You'll just want to watch every single episode one after the other. There's also France, Spain, and Germany criminals as well. They're all on Netflix. So if you get get down too far into that one,
the algorithm has decided that people are going to like this. It's really cheap to do, and we can bang it out in 7 different countries.
Exactly.
The future of TV. Wow.
But it's brilliant. It is really, really good, and it's good because of the performances.
We don't have time for me to dump on season 5 of The Wire this week, so I'm going to have to wait until next week.
Deep dive.
Finally, Line of Duty, going well, going bad? How is it?
I'm loving it, but it's so silly. Like, I don't know if people saw the end of the last episode. I couldn't stop. Like, the end credits rolled, and I was still laughing at the end of the end credits because she's been put in a position that she doesn't want to be in, and she had this like freak out in her car as Davidson, Kelly MacDonald, and she's just like flailing around and banging all the windows, and it's just so over the top and funny. And some of the plot lines, you're like, what's going on? Like the script, but it's so, I know we keep saying it doesn't sound like it's brilliant, but it is brilliant. And there's something brilliant about everyone watching it at the same time as well. But I'm loving it. I just love Line of Duty. It's so good.
Okay. Line of Duty is a recommendation to make your brain relax a little bit. It sounds like the big conundrum of the story. Sue, thanks very much for that. More from Sue. Check out on otbsports.com and on the OTB Sports app. When is it live?
It's going out this morning.
Right, 29 things to watch over the course of the bank holiday weekend.